Hey guys, it's Vault, and today I'm just going to show you guys this new comp that I'm using. It's pretty effective, and it's made me gain like 70 skill rating points in a day, so it is pretty good. All these matches are not wins though, some of them are losses. But most of the time it's just me playing bad. Like, as you can see right there, I didn't recognize that they would have dynamic punch. I thought it was like 2 more cycles on their fast attack, and they did a lot of damage right there, and I did not block. Here's the new comp that I'm using on the left. It's Melmetal, Granbull, and Garantina. I've used Granbull and Garantina in the past, but I swapped out my Penguin for Melmetal, so it's pretty good to come out with Melmetal too, because I see a lot of, I will see armored Mewtwo's, or I'll see Venusaurs, or even like the occasional, Swampert, Snorlax, or whatever. So these matches are also going to be a little bit sped up too, faster than usual, just because I didn't upload yesterday, and today I'm going to, have a little bit longer video as well. So as you can see on the right too, I finally earned over 1 million Stardust in Go Battle League, so it is a good way to, get some Stardust if you have a hard time getting Stardust. Right there I had no shields, and they still had bow shields, so right here I have the disadvantage, like big time. So they have Gengar as their last, and their charge attack is going to one-shot me, which is unfortunate, but as you can see, it is a pretty close match right there. And here to the next match. As you can see here, I come out with my Metal, and they come out with Poliwraith. This is really not a matchup I want off the beginning, just because fighting is going to be effective on my Melmetal. Right here I decide to block because they do have dynamic punch, and I know that's going to be effective. And right here I'm deciding not to block. They come out with their Scissor Necks, and I get my move right before I die. They decide to block because that would have been a good bit of damage on them, probably would have killed them. And right here I'm not really sure what I want to go out with, because I know that they have Night Slash on their Scissor, so I'm just going to pull out my Garantina and not block, because even though it does super effective, it still doesn't do that much damage to me. So they get Night Slash again. I decide to block that time just to try to preserve my Garantina health as long as possible. Dragon Claw is not effective, but it does chunk him down a good bit. He's going to get his Night Slash once again, and I kill him. I get my Dragon Claw again, and they decide to block on their Poliwraith, which is fine. I try to get my Dragon Claw off right before they swap, but unfortunately they swap right as I get it, and they have a Alolan Muck, so this is really something I don't want. Right there I tried to swap, but it bugged out and it wouldn't allow me to swap, so my Garantina died, and that's also what caused me to lose the match right here, just because it bugged out right there. See, and as you can see right here, since I was never able to swap, the Muck has 1 HP, and if I was able to get my swap off, I would have never took that damage right there, and then I would have had health for their attack. But unfortunately that's not how it went, and I lost that one. So here on to the next match. Alright, coming into the next match, they come out with Registeel, which is like a decent matchup off the beginning of the match. But if they do have their Focus Blast, then that is a little scary. I just immediately come out with my fighting move. It's super effective, and then I swap to my Garantina. which is a good swap on my part because Flash Cannon is not going to, you know, it does a good bit of damage, but it wouldn't do a lot to my Melmetal, so. I'm deciding not to block once again. Just because I want to try to, you know, save my shields for their upcoming Pokemon. I get my Dragon Claw once again. And I'm going to be able to eliminate the Registeel right before they get their attack off, which is good for me. They come out with Venusaur, which is, you know, a solid matchup for my Giratina just because grass is not effective. I decided to block right here because I know that my Giratina is a good counter for the Venusaur. Just I want to preserve him as long as possible. I'm working my way up the Ancient Power, but once again they get their attack. And I decide to block at the last second just because I want to use my Ancient Power. And we trade right here, and I'm just chilling right here, not putting anything down. I want to see what his last Pokemon is, and it's a Regirock. So I haven't seen one of these before, and I'm not really sure how he's going to play with it. But he has Stone Edge, so that's going to do, you know, effective damage to my Granbull, but it's not going to eliminate him on one charge attack. It's going to take 2. And he does not decide to block on my Crunch, which is a little bit questionable. I think he should have blocked right there because that does cost him the match. As you can see here, I get my attack, but he still has a shield as well. So he's going to block. And this is a very close ending right here, and I just barely secure the win. So he's deciding to use this fighting move right here, which is not enough. And I get my Stone Edge with 1 HP left on my Melmetal, and that secures me the win. And as you can see, you know, majority of the matches come down just to that, which a sliver HP. So alright, coming into our next match right here, he comes out with a Clefable first, and then I'm going to have my Melmetal. So he's deciding to block everything because my Melmetal Rock Slide is going to be effective. Which is fine. He has no shields going into his first swap. And at first I was going to use my superpower, but unfortunately I didn't realize he's going to swap. And the first one I do not hit an excellent, which does cost me a good bit of damage, but he does not block again because he has no shields. So and I'm able to kill him right before he gets his move. And right here, you know, he pulls out his Clefable, and I'm just gonna block because, you know, fairy on fairies, you know, just reasonable damage. And then I get my attack, and that's going to be not effective, but I'm going to be able to eliminate him before he gets another move off. And he has Giratina for the last one, which is fine. I'm hoping at this point he only has Dragon Claw, because then I'll be able to get my attack off, and he does, which is good for me. And this match right here, I completely destroyed him because he did not see my third Pokemon. So a good match on my part, bad match on his part. Alright, coming into our next match, I come out with Melmetal and he comes out with Venusaur. So, you know, this is a pretty decent matchup for me off the beginning, because I'll be able to get my attacks a little bit faster than he will. And he does not decide to block right there. And I'm not going to block because I know Frenzy Plane is not going to be effective since it's grass. I get my rock slide, and he's not going to block again. So, you know, I'm not really sure why he's deciding not to waste his shields on his Venusaur. You know, well, he doesn't know what my comp is, but to be honest, Venusaur is kind of, you know, something he should use his shields for. But right here, he does use his shield because he wants to get his attack off, and I'm going to I don't do that. I just swapped in my Grand Bull, able to chomp him down. He pulls out Armored Mewtwo. It's, you know, a decent matchup. I'm going to decide to block right here. And then I get my Crunch. And he decides to block because that would have been super effective on him. And I get my attack right before he kills me, which is kind of big. And he does not block because he has no more shields. And I'm able to get just a little bit of damage onto his Muck. I still do have a shield available, but I'm not going to block it because it will do a little over half. And it's better to use it now than later. And so right here, I get my attack right before he does once again. And right here, there's a little bit of lag, and I'm hoping it doesn't cost me the match. And once again, there's a little bit more lag, and he's able to get his attack off. So I'm a little bit worried that he's going to have this extra charge moved, or extra charge that he got from the lag, but I get my attack right before he does. And this is another one of those matches when I just win by a sliver HP. Alright, coming to our next match. Same matchup as the last one. I come out with my, or the one before, I come out with my Melmetal, and they come out with a Clefable. This is going to be a pretty close matchup, but I do swap to my Grand Bull right as they swap off of their Clefable, and I'm going to do majority of the damage. I am going to block right here just so I can preserve my Grand Bull for their Clefable when they pull it out. And I just immediately use my Crunch right as they come out. And they pull out a Empoleon. So this is going to do a good bit of damage too, but at this point I'm thinking what he's going to use, and I know that water is not going to be, you know, that effective on my Giratina, so I decided to pull that out instead of my Melmetal. But at this point in the match, I realized that he still hasn't used his water attack, and I'm like, he's probably gonna have Flash Cannon. So I decided to block, and I was correct. He does have Flash Cannon, and so that was a good block on my part. And then I pull out, or he pulls out his Clefable, and I just immediately swap, try to get to my Rocket Attack because I know that's going to deal, you know, a good bit of damage to him. And then at that point, he uses a shield. And he's going to use Meteor Mash, and that's not effective. So at this point, I recognize that he probably doesn't have a second moveset, and that I'm probably going to be able to win the match. And I get my Rock Slide off, and this is going to secure me this match right here. Alright, coming into our last match, they're going to come out with Armored Mewtwo. So this is a decent matchup for me. Off the bat, this is something that, you know, isn't the worst. And I recognize that they've been charging for like a second longer than the Psychic attack. So I realize that, and they do have Dynamic Punch. So it was a good block on my part because that would have dealt super effective. And then right here, I should have known that they were going to block, but they did not. And right here, I should not have blocked, but I decided to anyway. Then they swap, and then I swapped to my Grand Bull because I know that Grand Bull is super effective on fighting. And they use Shadow Ball, but that does not one-shot, and that's actually going to be able to be a good move on my part. And then they pull out their Armored Mewtwo once again, and that's able to give me enough charge just to, you know, get my attack off on my Grand Bull. I'm trying to use Rock Slide. They have no shields at this point, and I have no shields as well, so this is a pretty close matchup right here, because I know he's going to have another moveset on his Snorlax, but I'm not sure what it's going to be. And unfortunately, I don't get my second move off on there, and my Garantina's out, and he has a Dark Attack, so it's going to be effective on my Garantina. And this match right here comes down to the wire, just based on his attack. And he uses Outrage, and that's super effective. But right here, I get my attack once again. And as you can see, it's a sliver to a sliver. And it's just based on who gets their attack off first. And somehow I'm able to get my attack off a second before he does. And then I'm able to get the win on the match. So very close matchup right there. And as you can see, in that my last set for today, I won 3 matches. And then I'm gonna show you my placement right here near the end, and it gets me up to 2306, so I'm a little more than halfway to rank 9. So this comp is working pretty well for me right now, and I think it could work well for you guys as well. So thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next Pokemon Go video.